The Custer County Board of County Commissioners meeting will come to order. Let the record show that today is September the 30th, 2019. The time is 9:00 a.m. Mr. Chris, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome.
Not that it matters, but I'm in mourning today for the Broncos, who apparently have died.
They died 3 weeks ago.
Who are the
Madam Clerk to the Board, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Flower.
Present.
Commissioner Campbell.
Here.
Commissioner Prince.
Here.
Attorney Clint Smith.
Present.
And Clerk to the Board Kelly Camper present.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Our attorney has informed us that he's been very busy yesterday, but I'm assuming he'll bring us up to speed during the attorney's report about the new legislation you were working on. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Audience introductions. Let's start over here, please. If you could say your name. If it's an unusual spelling, you might spell it because our clerk keeps a record of all
Slowly, very slowly.
Go ahead.
Rosalind Solis.
Jerry Glassman.
Aaliyah Diane Barrett, Tracy Ballard, the Valley Beat, and the Broncos may be dead this year, but they're not as bad as the Bears, who have been dead since '87.
Okay. In the back, please, sir. Go ahead.
Robert Miller.
Okay.
Janice Miller.
John Sluter.
Okay. Jackie Bubis for the Sentinel.
Melanie Cipher.
James Patterson.
Okay. Welcome. Glad to have you guys here. I'm assuming you want to speak during public comment, so we will get to that as soon as we can. I don't want to make you sit here and spend your whole morning, but we've got a few things to do before we get to that. Shouldn't take a long time. Amendments to the agenda, gentlemen?
None here.
Nor do I. Thank you. Commissioner items? Commissioner Cannon, would you like to begin?
No minutes.
Oh, yeah, blew right over and didn't
He's
I?
trying to
Thank
get
you.
to public comment.
It's easy to do, blow right over.
Yeah, yeah, blow right
I
over.
move we accept the minutes from August 30th, September 3rd, September 4th, and September 18th.
Okay.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of those 4 dates. Discussion.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I reviewed them. I thought there was one or two little spelling errors. One of them I realized I was in the wrong set of minutes. They were already approved. Take it easy, I'm getting there. So yeah, I sent Kelly an email from Spokane saying, yeah, I think we got a misspelling here. She goes, those were the minutes that have already been approved. So
Too late.
she fixed them. Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carried. Those minutes have been approved. Thank you, ma'am, for your work. Appreciate it. Commissioner Kanda?
Sure. Right after our meeting last week, we had the airport board meeting the next day. And you missed a good time of spreading the mulch.
Yeah, I see there's still some bales down there, though.
I just put them out there Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Bob, John, and I did because we're short people, so we're gonna get another work party up and spread some more. It's a good thing they're rolled in the bale still with this wind that came in.
Yeah, sure.
We brought it from Spokane.
Where did the hay come from, the bales you have?
My place.
Oh, okay.
We got them, and they're they were black and moldy, so perfect mulch.
Yeah.
Then worked the broadband with trying to schedule a meeting between the towns and us. I got a meeting with Jim Bistow this evening. The West Clip Board's meeting tomorrow at 5 to discuss it. And so I and
1:30.
is it 1:30?
5:30.
5:30 I meant, yeah. And I'll be there with Buck and I, and we'll discuss the IGA. And Kara, can you give me a current copy of the IGA on that that we signed, if you can round it up, and then I'll see how many copies. I'd like to take a few copies. Talk to Jim.
So It's a West Cliff Town Hall meeting?
Town hall meetings, they're,
It's their monthly meeting.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
5:30.
yeah. And then, along the broadband front, I think most of these guys are here to talk broadband, and I talked about all of them. You guys were gone. Had a nice discussion, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
And we need, I scheduled as a result of that a meeting, where we put it on tomorrow for more discussion to bring everybody in. But we can discuss it today as well and start talking about it. Issue is, where CenturyLink can't pull the fiber through, they put in poles. We've got a couple of them up on our road, crossing some creeks up and down and back into the ground. They're supposed to be doing it on the county rights of way, and I did talk to the road and bridge guys, and that's the understanding they've got. And then I talked to CenturyLink, Tim Kunkelman, about it. And I have his engineer, director of operations, we'll talk about it later, to make sure they're on the county rights of way. So we can discuss that here in a little bit. And I think that's the highlights for now.
All right. Prince.
Thank you. I'm pleased to report that I was in Texas all last week. Of course, I had phone and computer, so I was busy. But the nice part is that's probably going to come to a very few and far between, because my dog has moved up here with me.
Did your wife come
Slightly
too?
better than that. My wife came with him, so
That's a plus.
we're a happy family again. So I'll be spending more time up here. Before I left, after our meeting, it wasn't after our meeting, it was Friday. I went down and we had our district attorney's meeting with the 4 counties that share in the budget for the district attorney. And you know, sometimes I know you always say to me, I have my emotions on my sleeve. I'm gonna do
You
it.
got 'em
I'm
out
gonna do
there,
it
did you?
again. What a breath of fresh air, the new organization. Our new DA, Ms. Turner, is a go-getter. Not much of a budget keeper, but a go-getter. The gentleman, and I'm sorry I don't remember his name, for our area, I spoke to him at length after the meeting. He is working with the Sheriff's Department, I assume with
The ADA
Sheriff
you're
Riley.
speaking of?
There are some cases that they may reopen because they were just glossed over, that he was just appalled that were glossed over. They're taking our county and all the counties very seriously. Here's the good news. They are not proposing any budgetary increases for the 2020 fiscal year. So we should be in the same place. The final budget isn't, they gave it to us, and I noticed that the expenditures and the revenues didn't match. So like I say, this turn of the DA was a little embarrassed, but they're gonna get that together and work on it. But they don't expect any budgetary increases from us. They invited us, any of the commissioners we want, to tag along and go for a day with the assistant district attorney, and I told him I would do what? Just to follow him around, see what he does all day and how hard he works. I told him I would definitely be taking him up on it. I brought a copy of the audited financial statements from last year and the proposed budget for this year, which will be changing, and I'll give those to Kara to hang on to. So overall, I thought the DA meeting was excellent. I felt like we finally have the ear of the government helping us get bad guys off the street. So I was very pleased. And they told me they've spoken with you, Sheriff, multiple times, and like I said just a second ago, some cold cases may be reopened and things like that. So I was very encouraged. You may feel differently.
Do you have a number? I was trying to look.
Yeah, I do. Ridiculously high, but I have the number. It is.
Like it was last year.
Custer County, $117,765.
Okay.
100 something last year.
117,7. Other than that, I've dealt with several phone calls from folks who are concerned about CenturyLink bringing the fiber above ground as opposed to underground. Suggested that we have this meeting. Glad you came. So those are the things I've worked on since last week.
Okay, good, thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, the 18th was the last time we met as a board down in Wetmore. That afternoon, I attended the Family First Act training here in the courthouse, as I know both of you gentlemen did as well.
That's right.
I thought that was kind of interesting. And then on the 18th, also attended the broadband meeting up at the town of West Clipper Town Hall. And then also on the 18th, I appeared via telephone conference call to the Division II Water Court on the status hearing for the lawsuit brought against the Arkansas Water Conservancy District by a relatively large number of opposers, 62 or so. I think some of those have mitigated out, but so they're still in the works. Let me see if I have that date written down real quick. Go ahead.
Was that a phone conference that if you did not attend, you were forced out?
For a couple, yeah. Ones that had not been involved earlier, if they missed one, I think this was their second.
We've been involved.
Second and final opportunity did not apply to us.
I was concerned about West Clipper.
Yeah, I don't know. I was in Colorado Springs at a meeting, so I was a few minutes late getting on, and I didn't hear who all was on that. I will get a list of that. I would assume here, forthcoming from the upper arc. And then I attended the Valley Strong dinner that same evening. I don't know, I haven't heard a number of how many people were there. I would guess it was over 1,200, but that's just a guess, so.
It was estimated at 1,700.
1,700. So it was nice. And then the 21st through the 27th, I was out of town at a conference, so that's kind of what I've been up to. Anything else, gentlemen, under Commissioner Ryan?
Yeah, one thing I want to make sure publicly, I've worked a lot of road issues too. I was just between meetings. It's gotten dry, and the washboards are getting real bad, and it's people need to understand that we do understand that, and that I've rode the roads, and they are bad everywhere, including on private subdivisions that are probably even worse. But I talked with Gary a lot about it, and it is prioritized by traffic, and other issues, the safety issues, if they're rutted and bad. So he's getting to them, and what our plan is too is we keep reiterating mag chlorides in the future, and we're trying to do that with what we can mile by mile to build up that base and keep it from washboarding longer. So anyway, just want everybody to know that we recognize the conditions of these roads, and we've got 300 miles of that. So imagine grading to Albuquerque with 5 graders. What we got. So it is a priority thing, and it is tough to keep up. And the alternative is to raise the mill levy and buy some more, but that's not in the cards right now. There you go.
Okay. Did you want to speak to the EMS committee?
Well, actually I don't have anything specific to report. we're going to meet today at 1:30 over at the clinic. We'll talk about how to make sure that ambulance service continues to the eastern portion of our county, which includes Wetmore, and other areas. We have interagency agreements with multiple organizations for some of the far eastern areas where our ambulance service is not first call. The committee that we formed before we speak with the hospital district is in agreement that we feel their complaints are absolutely legitimate or appropriate. We have what we hope to be a viable solution, and we're gonna present that to them today.
To who?
Sir?
To the hospital?
Yeah, the hospital board.
So you're getting that, their committee and your committee are gonna get together?
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you, I must not have been very clear. Both boards, I'm sure, will have to go back to, like I will have to go
We
back
need to
to
understand
the
what
commissioners
we think
once we
the
do it.
plan.
Yeah, once we do. So it may tweak a little bit, so I don't really wanna go into a lot of detail now. My feeling is that, they've stepped up to the bar, we're gonna step up to the bar, we're gonna do the right thing. We have some HIPAA information issues that are gonna come up, that we need to work through. Ultimately, I'm going to, our board is gonna work, once we get the immediate resolution that we've got through 2020 covered, during the period of time, between now and the end of the year, I hope we can come up with some resolution as to whether AMR is a viable alternative or not. If it is, how we're gonna pay for it, and have both organizations on board, and then again, we'll come back to the BOCC, and we'll probably have open meetings with the public and the BOCC. I don't think committee to committee is gonna make this decision. That's too big a decision. Keeping the ambulance going down to Wetmore area, I really wanna call it eastern part of the county. I think we can handle that just fine, but if we go to $614,000 expenditure to hire AMR, which is what the proposal is at the moment, I feel that's well beyond just two groups working together to come to a compromise. So we'll have some recommendations to move forward that, but hopefully that'll be an open discussion with the community and the both boards, and see how we can work that out, if that turned out to be the proper way to go, and we don't know yet. So that's what's happening this afternoon at 1:30, it's at the hospital. As with all of our meetings, none of our meetings are closed door. Anybody is welcome to come and listen to the discussion, and hopefully we're gonna walk away late this afternoon going, we're good with it, the two committees, and we'll bring them to our boards, and hopefully the boards will ratify if they do, and we'll be covered at least through 2020, although if we have a resolution with AMR prior to that, that would end sooner, of course. So that's really what I can report at this point. I didn't really plan on reporting on it until maybe tomorrow, once we have the discussion, but I just want to give an update on what we're up to at the moment.
Good, thank you. Okay, appreciate it. Sure. I don't have anything for Upper Ark. No.
I haven't got the minutes back from the Blue Line Committee meeting that we had before that. As soon as I get them, I'm gonna disseminate them all back out so they have insight.
Can I ask a question about that? In discussions with some of the people, some of the water right holders up here, they felt that they had a better plan than the Blue Line that was presented, and they wanted to get with Upper Ark to see if they could implement this new plan that they have, what they feel is a good plan.
Is it different than what they presented at the meeting we had? Cause they came up with a good alternative plan.
Well,
Whoever, it was Randy, Rust, Robert Miller.
it's probably the same plan,
I think it's the
because
same
those
one.
are the people I've been speaking to.
That's what we discussed at length now.
Okay.
And that's what.
And is Upper Ark, are they
Very
amenable?
receptive.
Perfect, that's all I ought to know.
And that's why I want the minutes to be disseminated, and then, we're gonna schedule the next Blue Line Committee meeting very quickly, so that we can follow up, and, cause that will change a lot of things on, and help mitigate a lot of the concerns on some of the people that are next to the Blue Line.
make sure we know, cause I'm gonna break with tradition and I will do my best to attend that meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, attorney items.
Well, I was telling Commissioner Flower when I first came in that I was working on a wind ordinance to outlaw wind in Custer County, and I had it all
Get it
ready.
done, quick.
I had it all ready to go, but it blew away when I got out of my truck for some reason. Gotta start over again on that. Got a legal pleading from one of our favorite persons, Mr. Howard. And usually I can kind of sort of figure out what he's trying to talk about, but this one, he filed it in the case here, the restraining order case that I had against him earlier this year. But it really was talking about the case in Fremont County where he was charged with harassment and found, I think he was found guilty, but beyond that, I honestly couldn't figure out what he was trying to talk about, so, but it's nothing that requires any action from me. With the complaint we had about the bidding process on some of the equipment, my advice, which is not secret at this point, is we'll just wait and see if the unhappy person follows through and we can deal with it then. I don't think there's any need to take any action at this time until we find out if there is going to be some kind of a demand made upon the county to try to rectify that. And then finally, Shannon sent me the intergovernmental agreement for our dispatch to be handled through FreeCom starting tomorrow, I guess. At 8 o'clock.
At
8
o'clock, and it's a lengthy IGA. Shannon said it was pretty basic compared to the ones I think it's like 36 pages long, and it actually what we're doing is joining in as a member to an existing authority that was created back in 2015, the Combined Regional Communication Authority, and they've got a very